Hi, I'm Larry the Leprechaun from Ireland. And while we're searching for a pot of gold, we like to listen to a good podcast. So I'd like to present to you now, recorded live from the podcast studio of America, located in Lancaster, Ohio, it's the Joe and Dan Podcast Show.
Hello, everybody. Brittnee here. Welcome to the Joe and Dan Podcast Show. Say hello, Joe.
Hello. How you doing, Brittnee?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fine.
Say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan. How's everybody doing? And say hello to our sidekick, Brittnee.
Hi.
Now that we all know each other.
And we're back once again. This is round 6, I believe.
For those of you counting at home, they thought for sure we'd be kicked off the radio. But we're not on the radio?
No, we're not on the radio.
Yeah, crap.
This is a podcast. And we introduced our little friend Larry the Leprechaun there in the beginning. Maybe we'll have a chance to interview him one day.
I hope so. He still owes me $10.
Uh-oh. Ooh, he's a trickster. He's a trickster. Got to watch out for those leprechauns. Speaking of that, it's March. What happens in March?
St. Patrick's Day.
Woohoo! St. Patrick's Day. The
There's-
wearing of the green.
And beer, too, I'm pretty sure.
Green beer, green cookies. I don't know. Cookies aren't part of it. Green.
Anything green.
Anything
Green cookies could be in it. I like cookies.
And if you're not wearing green, you get pinched. But
I purposely don't wear green.
yeah,
Whoa.
But you know what? I don't know about you, Brittnee, but Joe and I, you and I, we both have Irish in it. My philosophy is, if you pinch someone because they're not wearing green, but they happen to be Irish, they can slap you. They slap you back.
I've had some Irish in me.
Whoa. Hey. Oh. Hello. Oh. Yeah. I've got some Irish heritage. On my mom's side of the family, the Welshes, they're from West Virginia. They worked the B&O Railroad, and they moved from West Virginia to Baltimore, Ohio. And that's sort of how, through being run out of town by mobs of people with torches, ended up in Lancaster.
Oh.
That's cool that they worked the B&O Railroad, because I bought that on Monopoly once.
Did you?
I know, right? Try to get those railroads. Get the 4 railroads, and you're in good shape.
What about you, Dan? What's your heritage? Where do you get your Irish heritage?
I've got Irish from one of my ancestors down the line.
Oh, you narrowed it down there, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I've been traced back to Ireland.
Just one of them. Just
Yeah.
one of his ancestors.
They actually have pubs named after me.
So it's on your mom and dad's side both?
It'd be my dad's side, I believe. My mom's side, I think it's either German or Scottish, and a touch of Indian. We all have Indian in us, right? Every one of us, right?
Yeah.
You mean headdress or dot?
No, headdress.
Okay.
Yeah, American Indian. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually
have
do
more
not
Irish than anything.
have Irish in me.
You don't.
No. On my dad's side, they're Italian and Cherokee Indian.
Do they have Italian leprechauns?
I don't know. If they do, they only have pots of spaghetti.
Yeah, instead of a pot of gold.
You ain't getting my gold.
That sounds like the Bronx.
You better not touch my pot of spaghetti.
Tony Soprano. Yeah, I'll show you, leprechaun. Say hello to my little friend. That wasn't Soprano. That was actually Al Pacino. What was that movie? Scarface. Was it Scarface?
Yeah.
Yeah. No gangster movies. So what's going on?
It's Lent. It's a series. The Lenten season is what we're going through right now. So I'm extra grumpy on Fridays. For me, that's what's going on with me.
Because all you have to eat is fish.
Yeah,
Or
I like fish, but
Fish or nothing at all.
yeah. But the crazy thing is, when you can't eat meat, then you want meat. Then you're thinking the next morning I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna go to McDonald's and I'm gonna get a big old sandwich with a hamburger, or get bacon and sausage. And the next day it's like, it's not that big a deal.
I miss Arthur Treacher's fish and chips.
Yeah, they're really good.
There's no place to go to get fast food fish and chips. I mean, there's only one fish place in town.
There's a couple.
Timmins?
There's Timmis's. I'm friends with the Timmis.
Oh, well, then there's the what is it? The bar that serves fish.
Madison. They might not be open.
But they're not really
I think
fast.
they're selling. I think
Oh,
they're
they are?
yeah.
Oh, they're always big, like at the fair and
But
stuff.
you can McDonald's has a really good fish sandwich. It's actually really tasty. Main Event, I think, has a fish on every Friday. And, of course, there's the Knights of Columbus Fish Fry at the Knights of Columbus 1016 Hall, downtown Lancaster up on the hill. That's really good.
And I'm not Catholic, so I don't necessarily have to have fish, but I like a good corned beef and cabbage. I like that. Corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, you don't like that.
When it comes to Irish food, I pretty much just like the beer.
Oh, okay.
Well, Lucky Charms are pretty good. I like those.
Charms are good. Yeah, what are some of those Irish things out there that we take for granted that we have? We got Lucky Charms. We got
Irish Spring
soap, and
remember the commercial where the guy had the knife and he'd cut the
yes,
open and show?
Yes, I wanted to buy a bar of soap just so I could do that.
They should have had his wife yell, "You quit cutting my soap!"
Okay, now here's the real question when it comes to Lucky Charms, though. Did you eat them together, or did you eat the marshmallows first, the cereal last, or vice versa?
When I was a kid, I always ate the marshmallows because I didn't like the cereal. But now that I'm older, I like both.
I always saved the best for last, so I ate some marshmallows, but I made sure I didn't ever run out of marshmallows.
I always ate the cereal. I ate all the cereal and had nothing but marshmallows floating around, and then I just indulged in the marshmallows.
It was just depressing if you ate the marshmallows and that's all you had left was cereal, because the cereal wasn't that great. It was all about the marshmallows.
Right. Sort of like the Oreo cookie, you eat you have to eat the icing first on that, I guess, and then the cookie. I'd like to have it the other way around, actually, but there's no way. Well, yeah, you can, actually. You can peel that off sometimes, the icing. Just a little information. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
When it comes to breakfast cereal, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why they just wouldn't give Sonny some of them damn Kicks. You know that rabbit, the one that eat the Kicks? And sorry, Kicks are for kids.
Yeah.
Just give him a bowl.
Tricks. Tricks are for kids.
You mentioned Life, too. I like that cereal. But it gives me gas, though.
Well, why don't they just give the rabbit some cereal?
Oats.
Then
oats.
it's done. He probably, he only wanted it because he wasn't allowed to have it.
Yeah.
Kids don't share. They never share.
But Lucky Charms is
I always thought you share. He was a cute little rabbit.
Lucky Charms is the only Irish.
That was Tricks. It was Tricks. Yeah, when Kicks was the cereal was sort of like it was round and didn't taste good.
Yeah.
That's all I really remember.
So what else we got Irish? We got we got Irish actors and Irish bands and stuff like.
Oh, there's Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson's Irish.
Irish, yep.
Who else?
Colin Farrell.
Oh yeah, Colin Farrell. Yeah. Who else we got? Anybody? How about females?
Well, funny you should ask. On our research last night, when we meet, we don't. You might find this hard to believe. We don't just fly off the cuff like it sounds like.
Yes, we do.
We had a meeting and we were looking up Irish actors and stuff, and it came up Nicole Kidman.
You see, I always thought she was Australian.
Well, yeah, so did I. But turns out she's Irish, and I was like, well, we're Irish, and we live in America. But turns out she was born in Hawaii.
And she's got a strong Australian accent. That's why probably a lot of people thought she was Australian.
Yep.
And she lived in Australia, didn't she?
Yep. Yeah, I guess so.
And then she married an Australian.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Urban, he's Australian. So
he's pretty good.
Yeah, I like his music.
Ben Stiller's Irish.
Oh yeah,
he's a comedian actor.
Oh, he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
his dad, the one.
Jerry Stiller.
Jerry Stiller. Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love him on King of
Queens. Arthur.
Yeah, he's great on that.
I think Ben Stiller is a comedic genius.
Well, then he was
nothing short.
George Costanza's dad too.
On Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, yeah.
Ugh, God, I hate that show.
I think I actually like
Seinfeld.
Yes.
I think I actually like him better on King of Queens than I did on Seinfeld.
I do too.
Although he was great on Seinfeld, but
breaking news: we've met the only person that hates Seinfeld ever.
What? You don't like Seinfeld?
The main reason I hated it was because of Elaine. She was always complaining, and she had horrible shoes. She always wore those ugly loafer things.
But the guy she worked for was hilarious, Peterman.
Yeah.
Yeah, JP.
He was great.
I think Elaine.
He always talked like this.
I think Elaine had a thing for George because she was so mean to him all the time. Like when he went out and got the toupee, she had to rip it off his head.
I remember that.
Just let him wear his toupee.
Yeah.
Let the rabbit have the cereal. Let George wear his toupee.
So as far as the funniest one though, Man, it's a run up between George and Kramer.
Kramer, home run.
Those
Best.
two, both of those two were hilarious.
You remember the time Jerry had his door locked and Kramer bounces off the door because he used to running right in. He hit it and boom.
It's so funny how he used to enter his apartment. He just like slide right in, right in the middle of a conversation, and then suddenly he becomes, your focal point.
Well, who's the guy from Arrested Development? Larry David. He's one of the creators
producer,
of it.
Yeah.
And he wrote a lot of that stuff. When he lived in New York, he had an apartment across the way from one of the other producers on the show, and they kept their doors open. They'd just walk from one apartment to the other one. So that's where the genesis of Kramer running into Jerry's apartment all the time.
Was he a writer for Saturday Night Live, or was it like
He was definitely on Saturday Night Live.
But he was like a writer for, was it Second City maybe or something? I don't know.
I don't know if he's
a
a Second City. A lot of people came out of Second City, and they still do.
Yeah.
They're still pumping out people.
Yeah. It's like Saturday Night Live, but a different venue. Sort of.
Yeah, it's one of the best spots in the nation for
it's Chicago, isn't it?
For improv. Yeah, it's in Chicago.
On?
There's one in New York and there's one in LA called the Groundlings. Groundlings, where Pee Wee Herman came out of. A couple of different people, and then there's one that Amy Poehler started. I think you're started or is a big member of the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Okay. Well, Chicago, I know. I went to Chicago one time, and I wanted to go see Second City, but no way. You gotta get well in advance to get tickets. Yeah. So if anybody's planning on going to Chicago, you better plan it now. Get your tickets for Second City because they're a hot commodity apparently. So and then we got Irish bands. First thing I think of is U2.
We're not in a band.
Don't be a Bono. Hey, we might get into that a little later, though, speaking of bands. But, hey, you know what? I got a little, since we're approaching St. Paddy's Day, I've got a little bit of trivia for you guys. Some leprechaun history. First of all, do you guys know what a leprechaun is?
A scary little ginger.
It's actually it's a type of fairy, but not that type of fairy.
Hey.
Irish folklore.
Oh, that kind. Sorry.
And according to legend, if a human catches a leprechaun, that leprechaun must grant the human 3 wishes in exchange for his freedom. So that's good to know in case you ever catch yourself a leprechaun. The little short guys dressed in green, but they weren't always in green. The original leprechauns were dressed in red. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And there are no female leprechauns.
That's sexist.
So
that's why they're so cranky all the time.
Kind of a sexist thing, isn't it?
It's probably a lonely life for them.
Do you know what the leprechaun's occupation is? What does a leprechaun do for a career?
For conning?
Shoe polisher.
Ooh, you're close.
Cobbler.
Yes. Bing, 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 bing. That's right.
I could go for pie. Wait.
They make shoes for a living. And there's some stories they say they hide their gold coins in a pot at the end of the rainbow. Well,
wait
we
a
all
second.
knew that one, didn't we?
Are you saying that over in Africa where they make all the Nikes, they got like these big buildings full of just leprechauns pumping those things out?
I think it's China.
China?
It's probably China. They produce everything. Yeah, the leprechauns, going back to that, what I told you about the red, it said they originally wore red. According to the book of Legends and Stories of Ireland published in 1831, leprechauns wore red and tri-cornered hats and shoes and buckles.
Sounds like pilgrims.
Kind of. Did you guys ever see the movie Leprechaun?
Yes.
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh. It's so bad.
High quality movie?
It's very entertaining. I love it.
The makeup was good though, right? Costume and makeup.
And it was Jennifer Aniston's big break.
Ooh.
Lucky
Friends came along, right?
Exactly.
I want to say this, and hopefully everybody knows that I mean absolutely zero amount of racism in this. But I saw this at Scarborough Mall when they had a movie theater there, and it was my first time going to a movie theater with a large group of black people in it. And much like my first black funeral, it was very different. Like when I go to a funeral, it's usually one person talking. Well, now that I'm in the Catholic Church, it's a whole other thing. But I went to my first black funeral, and there was people singing. There was like 4 and 5 people talking. It was just really different. And so was this because many people in that movie theater had no problem talking during the movie and talking to the people on the screen. Don't go in that door. Don't do it. You stupid. I hope you die. So that was pretty funny. And that movie was so bad, The Leprechaun. Seeing those people yelling at the screen and watching, I had a really good time.
That's why I figured Leprechaun's job was the shoe related, because in the movie it's hilarious. They're trying to distract the leprechaun and they keep throwing shoes. So instead of chasing them, he's like, "Oh, I got to go get my shoes."
So that could become a phenomenon like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Then, have you gone to Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah.
Where the people people in the audience reenact what's taking place on the screen. Like during the wedding scene, they bring rice and they throw rice up towards the front. So they could do that at the Leprechaun movie. They could throw shoes. Yeah. Now I'd like to be there when they start throwing gold coins.
Yeah,
do they do that?
Me too.
I don't know. They talk about gold. Well, they say that the leprechaun carries one gold coin for every year they have been alive. Do you know their average lifespan?
Okay, so for every year they're alive, it's worth like 7 years. Oh, wait.
That's dog years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's dog years. I don't know.
What, 200 years old?
That's close. What do you got, Joe?
201 years old.
You're the closest. You win the showcase. 300 years old is what they say the average leprechaun. Well, based on, the myth, the storyline, because obviously they're not real. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, Larry. Larry the leprechaun at the beginning.
Spoilers.
He's going to come back and haunt us. Yeah.
Speaking of Larry the leprechaun.
Larry the leprechaun.
My stepbrother Travis, which ironically I've never met him, so I'm kind of convinced that he doesn't really exist. But when he was a kid, he didn't believe in Santa, he didn't believe in the Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairy, any of that stuff, but he believed in Larry the leprechaun. And he actually built like a little house, and he made like a little green bathtub and a little green toilet for him and a little green bed. And my stepmom would like occasionally leave like Hershey Kisses or change or something in there, and he would get so excited because he thought Larry the leprechaun came by.
I'm here to tell you I'm real.
I got a question for you, though. When
Larry.
she left Hershey's,
Larry, he's hiding back
said
here.
she had a little green toilet. Is that what the Hershey's Kisses were for? He totally pooed in the toilet.
Mold that. So we're
You gonna eat it? No.
So we're excited about St. Patrick's Day. Joe and I get into the Irish festival every year, but that's not until like August. But just the
That's
music.
kind of weird.
I love the Irish music.
Is anybody,
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't it be great to have it during? Well, it might be a little cold. That's probably why.
Are any of you guys
March.
celebrating St. Patrick's Day?
I have to work.
Well, I always acknowledge it. I have a Guinness. Oh,
You have an early.
We forgot to mention that Guinness.
You have an early because you work early on Sundays, right? So
Yeah.
you probably won't be
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
I've got a party I'm going to. A friend's having a bonfire in their backyard if they're able to do it, and a group of people from my graduating class are meeting at the used to be City Bar, now it's Suzanne's Lounge.
So everybody stay afterwards, and he'll give you specific directions, and all of you listeners can show up at this party and crash it.
Only if you're cool.
So what we got going on in the news here? Anything going on? Events or anything? We just had the Olympics take place. Did any of you guys watch that?
I watched some of the ice skating, and I watched some of the skiing.
Yeah, those are the two events I like the most too. But I watched some like the luge and the skeleton.
What's a skeleton?
The skeleton is like the luge, except they go down head first. The luge is like they're on the sleigh and they go down the track feet first. Skeleton's the other way around. They go down head first. Those are both pretty exciting. It kind of makes bobsled boring because it's one person that goes down and they fly down that track. That was pretty cool. And, who can't forget curling? I mean, what kind of excitement? It's the adrenaline's really pumping that curling.
You know that they had if they had curling outside of a bar, that would be like the best drinking game ever.
I wonder what if they're a retired Olympian that's a curling, they'd be a great janitor because they could really scrub those floors really good.
Right? Or, vacuum or...
We don't want to upset any of our listening audience that might be a professional or amateur curler for that matter.
But there is a strategy behind it. It's pretty cool if you watch it. It's like playing shuffleboard, but I like the ice skating. That's my favorite. I get into that. Are they going to make that quad? Are they going to come down? Are they going to fall?
One of the American skaters this year broke a record. It was some sort of turn, and she was the first one to successfully
did
do
a
it.
triple axel.
Something like
what was
that.
her name? Nagashi or something like that?
I think so,
Yeah.
Bless you. Have you seen the one where they got a ski and they get to a point and then they got to grab a gun and shoot?
Yeah, that's like the triathlon.
That's the
type
dumbest
of thing
one
or
I've
whatever.
ever seen in my life.
What do they shoot?
Targets.
But think about it though. If you're doing cross country skiing and then you have to stop, drop, and shoot at a target, imagine how exhausting.
Oh, I'm sure it's
to
hard.
keep that
but
gun steady in order to hit the target.
Didn't it sound like a sport like a 13-year-old came up with? What if they skied really far and like shot stuff?
Cool, dude.
Then skied some more.
Yeah, and then stop again and shoot some more stuff. Keep like doing that. That'd be like awesome. What we were talking about St. Paddy's Day, we have a new establishment in Lancaster. It's called O'Hood's Gaelic Pub.
Yeah, it's really nice. Very, very. The decorations inside are really amazing. They've really prettied that place up.
Good
awesome.
job to the owners of O'Hood's. You should give it a try if you're in the Lancaster vicinity. It's a real authentic interior, and they've got the typical Irish beers, Gaelic country type beers, and menu, and it's pretty neat. It's quite unique for the town.
And
Yeah,
also,
nice.
we want to stop for a second and shed a tear for the closing of Tasty Made.
Oh, that's right. Tasty Made, the hamburger
Yeah,
restaurant
it closed
by
today.
Chipotle.
It was so good.
I didn't get to try it.
It was so good. Their milkshakes are the best milkshake I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe the only possible exception is the shake shop that used to be in Logan. But I mean, it was that good.
I don't know. Steak and Shake's pretty good.
Culver's.
Oh, you know what? They don't have many Culvers around. I think they got some in Columbus, so don't they?
Reynoldsburg,
there's one
the
in
first
Pickerington.
The first one I ate at was like I had to go like up to Wisconsin for my job, and coming back on my road trip back to Ohio, I stopped at a Culver's to grab a bite to eat, and I had one of their burgers. Their burgers are really good.
They're really good.
Oh,
I had to look them up on the internet because I kept hearing the commercial for Culver's where they were talking about, and put another slab of butter on that hamburger.
Yeah.
Let's get that cheese nice and melted.
The
I was
butter
"That's
burger.
it. I'm finding them.
Everything's better with butter. More butter.
Their
Makes
milkshakes
it
are
more butter.
actually made with custard instead of ice cream. Frozen
Well,
custard.
yeah, their shakes were good at Tasty Me. I don't know, their burger wasn't that great, though. I mean, it wasn't anything to write home to mom about.
I thought it was good.
Yeah,
And
it
the
was
fries were good. And they had they put a French fry sauce station, and they had different kinds. They had butter ranch, which is pretty standard. They had a barbecue, but they had curry mustard, which was like spicy mustard. It was pretty yummy. But we'll say goodbye to them. And
yeah, it's sad to see a business go down in Lancaster, but we, like I said, we got the new establishment, O'Hood's. Give it a try. It's downtown Lancaster, at the corner of Main Street and Columbus Street. Is that right?
correct, the Mundo.
Columbus and Main Street. Check it out. Good place. Give them some business. Support your local businesses. And what else we got? March 10th. We've got the Maple Tapping Festival at Alley Park. So get your maple on.
Just bring your own pancakes.
Yeah, bring your own pancakes. Oh,
Let me get in there. You hold your pancake up.
If you're not into maple, same on March 10th as well is the Home and Garden show at the Fairfield County Fairgrounds.
Ooh, that sounds good. Hey, R.I.P. Tom McNutt, right?
Get your home and garden on. And what else we got going on? I guess The Voice started up again right after the Olympics. So,
oh, yeah. What do you guys think about American Idol coming back?
I guess that's still February, though. We're talking about March, aren't we? Oh, American Idol. That's coming back in March, right?
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
To me, American Idol dropped off significantly, and as the years went by, I was when it first started, I didn't like it. Then I became a super fan. I voted, I don't know how many times for Carrie Underwood and Kelly Pickler, way more than a straight man should. But then it just sort of, I don't know, it just sort of got a little worse and worse until it finally was unwatchable. So I'm hoping it does. Hoping it does good with the new. Is it still on Fox, or is they have a new network?
I'm not sure.
No, it's on a new network, I believe.
know there's new judges.
I
There's
think.
who?
I think it's
Lionel
on-
Richie and
Yeah,
Oh, I like Lionel Richie.
Katy Perry.
Yeah. And then The Voice, they've got Kelly Clarkson on there this year. So
You should have been on American Idol, bro. You can sing.
Oh, thanks.
It's on ABC now. It was on Fox.
Yeah, so it
now locally, Fox and
networks.
ABC are tied together, but not nationally. So that's pretty awesome. And it's apparently, according to this news article, American Idol returned as a sore subject for Fox networks. Was in talk to bring the show back. So, well, there you go. It's on ABC. Check your local listings.
And speaking of TV, we also had The Walking Dead come back on this Sunday.
There we go. And we all know Brittnee is a Walking Dead fan.
I have to shamefully admit something, though.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh!
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
But for the people that watch it, spoiler alert, pause if you have not watched. Everybody knows that Carl, stay in the house, Carl. His fate was pretty much decided as he was bitten by a walker, or AKA zombie.
I was going to say, for those who don't watch, Walker is a zombie, right?
Yeah, and Carl is the main character, Rick's son. So his fate is not looking too bright. So, like I said, I haven't watched it, but in the mid-season finale, Scott Gimple did confirm that his fate would be what you would expect it to be after being bitten by an infected zombie. So we know he's going to die. But the most frustrating thing about it is how he got bit. There was a new character introduced that Carl ran into at the gas station. And this guy was just surviving in honor of his mother because the mother thought that they were just lost souls. So this guy just went around killing zombies just to release their souls. And Carl had to help him. And Carl! And Carl was already missing an eye. And I'm like, man, you couldn't keep your one eye out for... Just,
They should have a leprechaun zombie movie. That'd be pretty cool.
It'd sneak up on you and bite you in the ankle. Wouldn't be good at all.
that, you know what? You might have something there.
I know. I wonder what they sound like. They're probably like...
I'm a zombie.
They got this video game called 7 Days to Die. And in it, you have to build up your fortifications because every 7 days, the zombies attack. And then you got to make sure you have rations. Like a lot of video games, you can play Grand Theft Auto and your guy never needs to get food. I mean, you can buy food and rob the place if you want to. There's all kinds of options at Grand Theft Auto, but you don't have to eat. Well, in this game, you got to make sure you have provisions. So in that course of the 7 days, it's time lapse. You get all your stuff. So, and I guess as the levels go on, like a guy at work plays it a lot. Kevin Garrett, really really good guy. He said that people they're working outside trying to get wood and stuff for their provisions, and a bunch of zombie wolves came up and attacked them.
What the heck?
So in this game, the other mammals can become zombies, and I thought that's really missing something from Walking Dead. Like maybe some of the other mammals should become zombified.
Ooh, that'd be scary.
Or like some zombie orangutans or something flipping around.
Running around Atlanta, Georgia.
Do they flip around really slow because the walkers walk real slow? So like,
What would it be
They're
like
like-
if you're listening to the radio and you had an announcer come on to announce a zombie outbreak?
Attention, attention! The apocalypse has broken out. Grab your nearest weapon, whether it be a spatula or a ballpoint pen. Run! Run!
I think they killed Larry the Leprechaun right there at the end. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was screaming, yeah.
Poor
They
Larry.
would probably be like this. They'd be like,
Breaking news, and sponsored by McDonald's. Check out the new Whopper combo.
Whopper.
oh, well, whatever.
Wrong sandwich, wrong restaurant. We know what you mean.
Hey, it really freaks them out when you ask for the wrong thing.
Have either of you guys seen Black Panther yet?
No,
No,
I heard
not
it's
yet.
good, though.
Yeah, it's
good.
It's good. It's very good.
Try to fish. It's good.
$1.99.
Nobody will get that until next one.
So Black Panther was pretty much the breakaway star from the Civil War Captain America movie.
Yes.
It's where he was introduced. Now he's got his own movie in the Marvel Universe.
Right. He's a protector of Wakanda, which is a fictional African country. And I haven't seen it, so I can't go into much more details. But Yeah, Black Panther is so far it's the best rated Marvel film of all time. So
Wow.
It's been out for about 2 weeks now, and we actually tried to go see it last night, and it was sold out. So we'll probably have to keep waiting to go see it, but I definitely want to catch it.
Yeah.
Black Panther has some cool claws made out of.
I don't know anything about
You don't know
that particular Marvel character.
Oh, I thought.
But I was never a big comic follower like other people I know. But
like me.
I mean I just like the basic, like the Batman, the Superman, Spider-Man. I don't have an extensive knowledge of all those, but I did hear that it was a pretty cool movie, so I'll have to go check it out because I just like action movies anyways. If they're good, if they're done well, because you can get some that are cheesy that aren't done very well. But
Like?
And Joe's over here drawing pictures now. Who's that supposed to be, you or me?
I was trying to draw one of them dummies.
Oh.
They're like real creepy.
Try to draw one of them dummies.
Dan, what's your idea of an action movie that was hokey? I'm just curious.
Action movie that was hokey?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of them, like on the Netflix and stuff. You think,
my
that
gosh.
sounds really good, and then you start watching, and it's like, oh man, this is bad acting.
Sharknado.
So yeah, there's one.
I couldn't stop watching it though.
Yeah.
I had to.
We talked about that in another podcast, didn't we? Sharknado? Sharks flying through the air.
When you're like us in podcast professionals, and you're all the way up to
that was
number
before-
6, it's hard to keep them straight.
Yeah, that was for
this
Brittnee
is only
came
number
along.
3 for me. So,
That was pre-Brittnee podcast.
like Bon Jovi said,
"Oh, I'm halfway there." Oh, speaking of Bon Jovi, that's a good segue.
Speaking of Bon Jovi, let's...
Newsflash.
Oh, I'm flashing? Okay, well...
Yeah, this is breaking news.
Bum, 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 bum.
Da, 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 da.
Coming out of our last night planning session, we've decided to come up with something brand new. Going along with the theme of March, we're going to go with our own March Madness best 80s rock and roll band or person. We don't want to make it sound... If you say band, some people think it has to be just a band. No, it could be any performer of the spectrum of rock and roll, which is varied. There's a lot of different things in that. So what we're going to do, we're going to have 32 different acts, and they're going to go, and we're going to vote on it. Our people, on our listeners, and I'm going to share it on my page too. We're going to get votes for these, and whoever votes wins. Now, 99.7 The Blitz, if you're listening, 99.7 The Blitz, the hottest rock in Columbus. If I'm trying to get a job, sorry. They do something like this every year. But the difference between that is they do it every hour. So you might be at work. Let's say you're a big what's that band that played up here at the Mickey's?
Buddy Gilbert and the
yeah,
Dirty
Buddy
Martinis.
Gilbert and the Dirty Martinis.
Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
You're a big Captain Geach and Shrimp Shack Shooters
love
fan.
them.
But their matchup is at noon, and you're at work and you miss it. So you can't vote. It's only people can vote. They'll do it for an hour. This, you're going to get to vote on every matchup. We've got, of the 32, we have 2 spots available. And all the usual, I'm not going to read the whole list here, but the usual suspects are here. We've got Journey, Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Van Halen, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, John Mellencamp, Motley Crue, Foreigner, REO, Speedwagon, Whitesnake, The Cars, and more.
Come on, you guys that are the same age as us. Think back in those glorious days of the 80s. Think about those bands that made an impact on you. Did we mention them? I know we had some people already throw some bands out there on Facebook, on our Facebook page.
Well, also, I'm going to tell you that a lot of people I talked to that weren't even born in the 80s.
Like our beloved sidekick, Brittnee.
I was born in '87.
Really big into, yeah, but I mean, you were a baby. That wasn't your era of music. Usually it's high school.
I was rocking out at 2.
Yeah, well, that's what I was getting ready to say. You appreciate 80s music. You're quite unique because people your age are usually into more
Kanye West.
Yeah, more recent music.
There's a gentleman I work with that was born in 1995, and he was familiar with I was telling him about it. He was familiar with all the bands. And
that's the thing that's awesome about 80s rock, too, because even if you weren't born in the 80s, you're not going to walk up to somebody and talk about Journey or Guns N' Roses, and someone's going to go, who? And if they do, I'll probably punch you. So,
Well, I always say the 80s music is like the best the popular music in the 80s is like the best since the 1950s, because you can go to like Brittnee. She's probably heard of the Four Seasons, or I can name a whole bunch of 50s acts, the big 50s acts. She's gonna know it. But if I say, do you ever heard of Badfinger? Maybe not. They were big in the 70s.
10 years after.
And you ask some of the kids that are young today if they've heard of Counting Crows, they might never ever heard of them. It was really good music, but it just never achieved the popularity that 80s music did.
Ask somebody in high school today if they know who Bobby Darin is. Frank Sinatra? Dean Martin.
Yep. It's kind of funny. While we're talking about people that don't know artists, I have to shout out to my friend Ben. We pick on him. Ben is a gay man, born in the 90s. He didn't know who Cher was.
Oh, wow.
That's like, to me, that's a deal breaker. It's like, are you sure? You don't know who Cher is.
When you go and get that test, the BRCA test, where they can text if you got the gene that causes breast cancer, they should have like a gay test like that. And if you don't know who Cher is, you
fail.
Yeah, you're now straight.
Yeah. There is a test like that.
There is?
It's called the Kinsey test. It's actually pretty interesting.
Oh, so they watch Glee, and if they like it.
No.
Kinsey. Didn't they have a movie?
Yep.
About, was that what that was about? Dr. Kinsey?
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. Yeah, that's what
who's Irish.
Yeah, he's one of the Irish actors.
Segue.
I don't see how he keeps acting, though, because how many times has he been taken?
Boom, boom.
So we have 2 spots available.
He's got that
in our
nasal. I will
our
find
Sweet
you and I will get you.
matchup. Now, these 2 teams are going to be picked. They're going to go against our number 1 seeds. Our number 1 seeds are Journey and Bon Jovi. Because Journey is just ultimate. When you think 80s, Journey comes up, and Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi, definitely.
Living in the 80s like I did, Bon Jovi was huge. I mean, they came out of nowhere. Slippery and Wet hit, and the album was amazing. And then he went on his own. And
I don't know who Bon Jovi is. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that was so fake. Fake news.
So we're just going to discuss right now.
REO Speedwagon.
The wagon's in.
Okay, good, because that was big in my high school days. REO Speedwagon.
The wagon is represented.
Excellent.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 musical groups or acts that would go really well in this tournament. And a couple of them, if they're picked, could upset the number 1 seeds. A 16 upsetting a number 1. So we're going to decide right now here on the show which 2 get to go on. The first one is my favorite band. It wasn't my idea to add. It is the one, the only Queen, greatest lead singer in the history of the world.
R.I.P. Freddie.
Coming at second,
Freddie Mercury
is one of the most popular bands of all time, AC/DC.
Rock out.
Beyond that, speaking of R.I.P., I can't say the symbol, so I'm just going to say the one, the only Prince.
Purple rain. Purple rain.
Also competing.
That guy
for
can play guitar.
He sure can. One of the next spots coming up is Dawkin. We'll be rocking like Dawkin.
Rocking like Dawkin.
Dawkin has a very, very strong fan base. And, by golly, you can't think of a music soundtrack. Wow, what happened to my voice?
Oh, you sound.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Want a bagel?
You can't think of a music soundtrack without this guy. Even though he did greatly anger everybody in Lancaster when they did not do Danger Zone at the Lancaster Festival. Oh. Kenny Loggins.
Oh, yeah.
Now you gotta cut loose.
And the last one of my personal favorites, Richard Marx.
Hold on to the night.
See, they're kind of soft sound. I mean, especially Richard Marx. I
They were huge.
I don't look
in
at
the
him
80s.
as rock, though. I look at him as pop.
But see, here's my thing. And Joe, I'm sorry, but if we have Prince on this list, shouldn't Michael Jackson be on that list?
Ooh.
I struggle with that a lot.
Just beat it!
He is. Michael Jackson's the king of pop. But I don't see like any. See, Prince is kind of a stretch for the rock and roll thing, but like Red Corvette, such a great song. And that's kind of more towards the rock and roll side to me a little bit.
Yeah, but so
when
was
the doves,
Smooth Criminal.
when the doves cry.
Smooth criminal!
You've been hit by, you've been struck by a smooth criminal.
Okay, enough of the Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
One more.
I thought about that a lot today when this came up. Like, why would I want Prince on the list and not Michael Jackson? And
I would
the
eliminate
same
Prince.
era.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was big. I mean, he was huge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the.
You know who
rock
also
part,
was
though.
big in the '80s? Cyndi Lauper. She's
Pop.
definitely doesn't go on.
No, she's not.
on the
I don't
rock.
consider her rock.
Yeah, she's an amazing musician.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I got a Cyndi Lauper album.
The reason
The first one, I think.
the reason we didn't put AC/DC on the list is when we discussed last night, we thought they were more of an 80s, 70s band. Now, after doing some research from somebody who posted on my thing, AC/DC's biggest album was Back in Black, which came out in 1980. Jim from Nebraska told me that. Now, I've also gone on the record many times as saying the 80s started January 1st, 1983 and ended New Year's Eve, 1993. That's the 80s for me. Because after that, and because there was still like some hanger from the 80s and the early 90s, and 80, 81, 82 seemed an awful lot like the 70s still. You still had like a disco vibe and sound. And Queen was around in the 80s. When you get into the 80s, then I think of the albums The Game, Body Works, and The Works. I don't know, but it's more of my favorite Queen stuff, and the bulk of their work was in the 70s.
What about Howard Jones?
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
That's Tom
That's Tom
Jones.
Jones.
Wait, and who's the youngest here?
I got my Joneses mixed up. That's What's New Pussycat then?
That's Tom Jones.
Green Grass at Home.
Howard Jones is What Is Love? Anyway.
I will admit, I don't know who Howard Jones is.
All right, never
Is that
mind.
that
Moving on.
Is that restaurant that went out of business?
Yes.
No, that's Tasty Made.
Oh, R.I.P. So if we put AC/DC in, we're going to reseed them. We can't have them at 16. I mean, that's just way too low for them because they're going to get votes. We got to protect our number one seeds. We can't have them go against a juggernaut in the first round when they could catch them in the finals. So what do you guys think about AC/DC?
I say AC/DC and Queen should be in the bracket.
I agree.
The thing about Dawkins is they didn't have that many hits. They were more of a... People like them. Another good example of a band like Dawkins
I think
would
they're
be,
low on the list.
what was the band Run to the Hills? Iron Maiden. Maiden's the same way. That they were... they had a couple hits, but they were... their core people love them.
Yeah, and they got big again in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. So if we go with Queen and AC/DC, I'm going to reseed both those. Queen's not going to go high up as AC/DC. But you all right?
Why not?
Well, I mean, not a disrespect to them, but AC/DC will. I don't want to see one of my number one seeds get knocked out in the first round. And
This is the March 80s rock madness, not the Joe Austin bracket.
yeah, but you want your better bands to be your better acts to make it to the finals. So you want to accurate putting them in at 16. First off, they could lose in the first round really easy.
Well, no, I agree. I just think both Queen and AC/DC should be up there.
What about Rick Ashton? Or Ashley? Rick Ashley?
Rick Springfield?
No, Rick Ashley.
I don't know who that is.
The redhead guy.
He was
The
pretty
ginger?
good.
He had the low voice.
He's probably
that's
Irish.
Ed Sheeran.
No, that's not it. No. I'm trying to think of one of his songs. Rick Ashley.
Oh, he's real popular. Let's try to think of one of his songs.
Name a Dawkins song.
I'm gonna look up. You look up him. I'm gonna look up that Rick Ashton guy.
I think it's Ashley. And we'll take a break here then. While we're Googling.
I found Rick Nash. He's a hockey
Isn't
player.
that Kevin Nash?
Yeah, he's a wrestler. Very good.
It's good. Try to
All right,
fish. That's real good. Try to fish.
He was also in Magic Mike.
I'm gonna put Queen. Queen's gonna be seated at number 11, and I'm gonna drop Foreigner down to 16.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Who sang this song? I know this isn't going on there, is it? Since we're looking stuff up.
Yeah, we're still live.
Oh.
We're live somewhere.
And by the way, it's Rick Astley.
No!
Oh!
Make Make it stop. Make it stop.
Give you up.
Right. There you
We've
go.
been rickrolled.
All you would have had to do is say the guy from the Swiffer commercials.
I didn't know. Swicker.
AC/DC's going at 11 too, because I'm going to be Warrant down to 16 where they should be anyways. Well, you don't like Warrant?
I do. I like them all. This is hard. Like, if someone was holding a gun to my head and I had to pick my top favorite one, I'd probably die.
You're going to have to put this bracket on Facebook so everybody can see it.
We will definitely do that.
Can you visualize it?
Well, I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of comments too. People saying, "How could you forget Adam Ant?
Adam Ant.
You goody two
That's
shoes."
right.
Or how can you put Blondie on there? Which,
But that's the cool thing. So it's our show, so
Yeah.
we get to make rules.
Yeah, that's right.
there's two things you can do: like it and love it. It's kind of fun to talk like Ric Flair, but use like a gangster.
It's just kind of
voice.
fun to talk like that, you know?
That's right.
It's either that or talk like a leprechaun.
I heard that.
Oh, Larry.
Larry the leprechaun.
You know, for a guy that doesn't have any chance of ever getting a girlfriend, he's a pretty happy guy.
Larry the leprechaun.
Yeah, you said that there's no female leprechauns.
Nah. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean he has to date a female leprechaun.
So
Since there aren't any.
So does he date a Smurf?
Possibly.
You
Possibly.
know what? There was only one
Yeah.
female Smurf.
Her date card's pretty busy as it is anyways.
She'll have to go
Well, see,
he'll have to get with Tinkerbell.
Let's see, if they got married and had kids, you had a leprechaun and a blue Smurf. What color would that be?
Turquoise.
Any,
Doesn't
can name her-
matter.
any artists out there that know their colors?
They could name her Jade.
Doesn't matter as long as they're loved.
Leprechaun lives matter.
I think there's a leprechaun march in Washington in March sometime.
Yes. We fight the good fights here on the Joe and Dan podcast show. We try to get the Trix Bunny his
We give them all their due.
cereal. We try to hook up leprechauns.
So why Joe is writing out his bracket. I wish we had some video here so you could see this, but it's kind of looking like a Christmas tree, sort of. All right, looks like we're going to be back on the next show to pick up on the rock bracket.
We will have our finals
we'll have
on the next show.
We're going to have some results for you on the next one. So keep it coming on Facebook, though. We want to hear your input on that one.
Yeah, be sure to check out our Facebook page, Joe and Dan Podcast Show on Facebook. Give us a like, check us out, and you'll be seeing all our tournament action, March Madness 80s rock band action.
I don't know, Brittnee, you got anything else?
No, I think we're good. Although I did want to kind of make a shout out, not to make anything sad, but I would like to give a shout out to people in Florida who lost lives in the most recent school shooting. So I know it doesn't always help, and I know there's a lot of people saying that it doesn't fix everything, but my thoughts definitely go out to them.
Never underestimate the power of prayer.
And we also would like to give a shout out to the new Irish Gaelic pub in town called O'Hood's. Make sure you check that out and support our local businesses. That just makes Lancaster a better place to live. So with that said, we're going to get out of here, and we'll see you on the next Joe and Dan Podcast Show. We're out of here.
Bye.